Welcome back to another Overwatch Coach VOD review. So we are getting into Season 3. This will be the first VOD review for Season 3. So before we dig into our Kiriko VOD review, I just wanted to ask to any of the returning viewers, how has the matchmaker been for you guys from previous seasons going into this one? Does it feel better? Does it feel the same? Does it feel worse? I'm curious on feedback on that. I had an extremely good Overwatch weekend, and I just wanted to share a quick snippet of my profile here. So obviously, I'm really only playing support. I haven't really touched the other roles too much. But as you can see, I won a lot, and I went from low plat all the way up to Masters this weekend. So I personally am loving the matchmaker changes that they've made. The game felt completely different. There were some lopsided games, don't get me wrong, and I did suffer a couple losses that felt a little lopsided, but for the most part, the games for me felt way more even than they had before. And yeah, I mean, my profile, I'll let it speak for itself there, but it was a very good weekend for me. So I'm hoping it was a very good weekend for you guys. Now I've got a few VOD reviews I want to do here tonight. So let's see if we can't help a few support players have some better days ahead here in Season 3. So the first video that we're going to do is for Kiriko, and they are Silver 1. And their intro is as follows. So I saw a little while ago that the best game to send in for a review is one where you lost, but felt like you did all you could. So that's what I'm posting here. I feel like my team played rather well, and I don't have any doubt that I could have won this game if I made more optimal decisions, but I'm not sure what those decisions could have been. Watching my own VODs just leads to me remembering what I was doing, and then I can't objectively pick out what I'm doing wrong because I get into the same mindset I had while playing. Maybe I just need to improve in the micro sense, Suzu timing, etc. Or maybe my overall gameplay flow needs improvement, positioning, who I can plan on pocketing, am I going to flank? Originally, I played a flanking support, will be a Lucio or Mercy. I know in this game I had a Moira alongside me, but I feel that I need to learn how to play a more traditional support role, i.e. backlining and staying relatively close to the tank, just to hedge against the inconsistency of the flanking style of play, not to mention that main healing seems to get Kitsune faster, which should win a lot of team fights on its own. If anyone has the time to review this, I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay. So let's see. All right. So if you're playing, all right, so Kiriko, as I showed in my snippet of my profile, Kiriko is a hero that I've been playing quite a bit between Season 2 and 3, and she's a bit of a unique hero because she can deal a lot of damage if your aim is good. But if your aim isn't good, I see a lot of players playing her like a pseudo Mercy and they don't do damage. So the first thing that, and I say this in a lot of my VOD reviews that I've done for Kiriko, but aim for every round getting at minimum 1k damage. Now that's under the assumption the round actually plays out a ways and, you know, doesn't stall out like on the first point or something like that. You know, obviously that would be the exception. But if the game goes to like the second point, maybe even part way into the third, or goes the whole way, you should at minimum have 1k damage on Kiriko. Now, the other reason that makes Kiriko a little on the unique side is that she can both main heal and off heal. And a lot of that is dictated on what support you're playing alongside of. So as of right now, you're playing alongside of a Mercy. In your intro, you say you play alongside of a Moira. So that would actually be a great example of this. So if you're playing alongside of a Mercy, she's going to pocket the DPS, and you can see that already on the screen. And I promise I didn't stop it here to prove a point or anything, but the point is right there in front of us. So if the Mercy's pocketing the DPS, hopefully a long range one, that means your main heals, which means you're healing the tank. You're healing everybody, but your sole responsibility primarily is to heal the tank. So yes, you would be playing more in the back line and throwing out your healing coupons to your tank, to the other DPS if the Mercy's not nearby, to the Mercy, that kind of thing. Now, if you're playing with a Moira, then your role changes. So if a Moira is spraying the tank, which is pretty much what they should be doing, then your job suddenly is now to play more with the DPS, be kind of keeping more of an eye on them than the tank. And then that's also where some of the damage can start coming in at, because then you're going to be kind of more where the Mercy is in this picture versus playing more behind your tank. So a lot of the play style of how you play Kiriko needs to be predicated on what your team is doing. And I would start specifically with what your other support is. I do feel that Kiriko can play with any support in the game. However, I do feel that there will be some difficulties depending on what your other teammates are doing, alongside of what your other support is. So for example, if you have a Zenyatta with a Kiriko, but then your tank is Diva, or another kind of tank that can't necessarily defend themselves or shield themselves very effectively, especially if they're being countered, it's going to be difficult to keep that tank up. If it's more of a shield tank, like a Sigma, a Rhine, Ramatra, that kind of a thing, then you could probably make that work a lot easier. So, there's going to be some variations that you're going to see once you're out in the wild in terms of what your team's doing, what your team comp is, that kind of a thing. But that's kind of what you should predicate yourself on in terms of how to play Kiriko. So, with that said, let's dig into this game here and see what we get.
2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload. Tango inside. Enemy here.
So the first thing I want to say here is I like the level of which you're shooting at. You're shooting at a base level that's headshotting. You're getting dinks. It's important to be headshotting with Kiriko, so aiming at a baseline level of a round headshot, and if it happens to hit a body shot, or if you soar above their head just a little bit, so be it, because the difference between 40 damage, 40 damage for a body shot, assuming there's no armor in play, and is it 120 or 140 for a headshot? I'm suddenly drawing a blank on, it's one or the other. I can't remember which off the top of my, I think it's 140, but I'm not I don't know. For some reason, my head's telling me 120, but it's like 120, 140, something like that. That's so much more than the 40 damage to the body shot that aiming at that base level of headshot is so important to do. They're doing that here, at least in the beginning, and they're landing headshots. We've already landed 3 of them. That's good. Now, your first wave of healing should go to your tank. Okay, yeah, there you go. Just worry about the Torb, worry about the Orisa. Make sure... So, okay, that E ability there was pointless. There was no reason to throw that. Little bit more focus on healing. Your E ability was like super behind there. I think your focus there on doing damage versus playing as a main healer there is why the Torb died. If you were kind of a little bit more focused on spreading your healing coupons around, the thing that I'm not necessarily seeing you doing is, so when you send a full wave of healing out, you've got time to throw 2 shots off. So if you can start balancing in your brain, you throw a wave of coupons out. Now, in this case here, so let's pause it like right here. So in this case here, you throw like, let's say 3 at the Orisa and 2 at the Torb in terms of your healing. And then as your healing reloads itself, throw 2 shots over here or to the Orisa down below. But, you know, 2 damage shots. By the time you get 2 damage shots off, your healing is going to be reloaded. And then you just reassess who needs healing. And then you do the same thing over again. And then that Torb probably doesn't die there because you're going to be kind of spreading the healing around. But what you're doing is you're just hyper-focused on throwing damage. And by the time you react, it's way too late. And it's way too far behind. Your primary job here is to heal and do damage second in this scenario. Okay, so the Mercy reses, which is good. The one thing that I will say here is, at least the Torb died somewhere relatively safe to be rezzed. And then on top of that, you kind of made sure the Mercy stayed safe while she did it. So now at this point, you guys are kind of pushing them back. So at this point, focus on healing. Allow these 3 people in front of you to be aggressive. Just heal. And as you top them off and as they get maxed out on healing, then that's where you do the damage. Also, your Orisa's on fire. Oh, okay, you don't have your E ability, but if you did, I would say use it to cleanse the fire just to help kind of keep up on the healing. Yeah, so again, that E ability there, pointless. And you're also way too focused right now on doing damage. Even though you got the kill, I'd rather see that being done by your DPS or your tank here and not by you, because you have healing to do. Your Torb is low. Your Orisa needs healing. Your Sojourn died and probably wouldn't have if you were a little bit more focused on healing and just spreading the wealth of the healing coupons around here. Good job landing the headshot on the soldier, though. That should allow the Torb to just finish him off, but he didn't go in for it. So right now you're frontlining. This is a no-no. You're taking unnecessary damage. Because if you die there, which you didn't, but if you did, think about how far of a walk back you would have had versus if you got a pick and how far it would have taken them to get back to the fight. You're basically fighting in their spawn right now, basically.
My ultimate is ready.
Good headshot. Well, I can see one thing. You're not going to have any trouble hitting the 1k damage quota. You probably are already there. Because you've landed a fair amount of headshots already. Which isn't a bad thing. It's just a matter of if you can afford to do it and how you do it. So I would have liked to have seen that ult go down more that way as opposed to this way. It will allow your team to kind of push forward a little bit more. Otherwise, I don't really have a problem with this ult. It's just I would have liked it to go a little deeper down.
It's go time. I'm grateful.
Just heal, just heal, just heal. Yep.
Carried on the wind.
Okay, you're frontlining again, and you're taking unnecessary damage. You'll probably be fine and not die, but you're still frontlining. And it goes back to the same principle I was saying before, because if you die, you've got a long way to go. They don't. And your Torb died. How did your Torb die? Where was he? Okay, so he's right by the gate there, and if you're in a better position, you're able to keep that Torb going. Because basically, like, all right. Let's say you stay within, let's say you stay within, like, right here. Like, somewhere, like, right around the staircase area. And let's just play this out for a second. Okay, you'd be healing the Mercy, the Sojourn, and the Torb if you were playing over here. That Torb wouldn't be low. The Sojourn would be maxed out. That Torb wouldn't have died to that. Now, you don't have anything else to cleanse except for two things. Number one, dynamites. And number two, Orisa ults. So when you get stuck in an Orisa ult and you're sucked in and you can't move out, throw your E ability down and you should be able to get out of it. Now, maybe I should clarify this. Most of the time you can just teleport out as Kiriko, but what I mean is like getting teammates out of it. You might have to get yourself out of it if there's nobody around to teleport to, but you know, it's about being able to regain your speed to get out of the circle. But otherwise, use it for cleansing dynamites and use it for people that get really low. In a case like this, use it on Mercy because she's burning, and I think she's going to go res the Torb, and she's going to need the cover. Once you use your E on Mercy, throw out like 2 healing coupons here on Sojourn, and then the rest go to Mercy. But instead you use it on yourself because you're a little too far forward.
My gift to you.
Yeah, just heal and get everybody back up here. Okay, yeah, at this point, just get out, everybody out.
I'm with you.
I would have stayed with the Torb, but tried to stay in a spot where you're not going to get shot at, just to make sure the Torb doesn't die and staggers himself. I don't know. It doesn't look like they're going to push up on that. A higher level game, they might push that Torb no matter what. So staying with the Torb and making sure he doesn't die, assuming you can kind of stay in terms of like cover and whatnot, and just keep him going might have been a little bit of a better play, but since they're not pushing him, it doesn't really apply, but it's something to just keep in mind for future games, especially once you start climbing. Okay, so little hyper focused on doing damage, but your aim is just all over the place. And if you're just missing everything, start trying to just aim for the body and then work your way up to headshots again if you just completely lose your aim for a little bit. That's what I tend to do. I try to land a body shot or two, and then I just start moving my aim a little bit higher. But yeah, for right now, you got to start healing here because you haven't really healed at all this fight. So I would just start with throwing your E ability at Orisa and then just dumping everything into Orisa. Yep. And you had to do that because you were really late to the party with the healing on your tank. You are responsible for your tank and healing in this lineup, and you were really late to that.
I'm here. The Kitsune is ready to be unleashed. Engaging enemy forces. Soothing your wounds.
So, one thing I'll say is in a scenario like this where all you guys can do is kind of poke, Mercy has ult, so it doesn't matter here. But if your Mercy didn't have ult and you do, make sure you're not the one doing the healing, assuming the Mercy's right there on top of it. Let them get the ult charge if they need it. Again, doesn't apply here, but just something that popped in my head from watching this.
We are falling apart.
Don't be afraid to teleport to the tour because you can just wall climb back up again.
Let the Kitsune guide you. Draw strength from nature. Purify.
Heal.
Enemy here.
Go for the Kiriko. Okay, so in a scenario like that, the only thing I would have said to do differently there is try to kill the Kiriko before the tank. A lot of times tanks won't die until the healers do. And then you had the Kiriko right in front of you.
Your hand-to-hand needs work.
I never heard that voice sound.
Enemy here. Breaking them down. Enemy in sight. Enemy spot. Be healed.
Setting out the welcome mat.
Enemy here.
Again, another wasted E ability. Don't know why you threw that.
Over here. Just getting started. It's go time.
Heal your tank, heal your tank.
Gentle rain.
Yeah, I like that teleport. That was good. You timed that pretty well. Just for right now, heal your tank. Yeah, I don't know what that was. You could have wall climbed that and threw your healing out.
Move up here. Fall back.
You should be helping them right now. So I'm good with you kind of just poking around here. But it took you a while to get to this spot and get to this decision. You should have kind of made that decision a lot sooner. Because they're struggling here, and if they get picked, you guys are definitely in trouble. The only other thing you could have done is if you really didn't want them to fight, which I would have totally understood, you gotta call it out. Looks like you did like a group up thing. People don't often listen to that. Get on a microphone and, you know, just say fall back, let's regroup. I'm not, yeah, you guys would have had time to regroup here. You could ult here, actually. Let's see if you do. I could totally see ulting here. And just committing to trying to hold this fight. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, this is... See, alright. Your E ability right here saves this situation for... Let's take a look. If you throw it, like, right here, it's gonna cleanse you and the Sojourn. You're both on fire, and then you're both gonna be able to get out of this. Now, you are in your ultimate. So, let's see what happens. I'm not sure if that's gonna allow you to get out or not. And you don't have an obvious teleport target, yeah. Yeah, I killed both of you guys. You guys couldn't get out of it. So, that E ability probably saves you from that. Especially if you time it right.
I don't give up that easily.
As opposed to how you used it. So, your E ability, I haven't really seen a good use out of your E ability yet. I haven't really seen these dynamites getting cleansed all that much. Like right here, you could be cleansing that. Okay, you did it. Came a little late though. Otherwise, saving it for trying to counter Orisa ults would be another one.
Target's locked. Open fire. You're carried on the wind.
Getting very DPS happy here. Your tank needs healing. You're currently frontlining. Remember, you are the main healer.
Be healed.
Your Torb needs heals. Keep healing, keep healing.
Let the Kitsune guide you.
Just heal, 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 heal. Keep healing. Your soldier needs heals. Yep.
Sometimes it takes two.
Cleanse yourself.
I'm grateful.
Good shots.
30
Okay.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, so I mean,
Don't lose now.
some little
We're almost there.
positioning, a little bit more focus on healing there, but generally speaking, you did alright. But there is some stuff to clean up there. A little bit more healing focus.
Restoring balance.
Anytime that Mercy is not pocketing the Souljourn or whoever is the hard carry DPS on the team, and there almost always seems to be one, is time that Mercy's not getting her max value. So, and that falls on you with your healing. That E ability right there didn't do anything. Heal your tank, heal your tank. He is your front line, heal your tank. So this only gets held if your front line holds. And you left your front line out to dry. Yeah, so Mercy self-heals after a short while, and if she's not getting shot at, she'll be fine. Your job there was to heal the Souljourn who was on your side and closer to you. Get her going first, because at that point she's your front line and she's what's holding the cart from moving, because now you got to move up to it, and you're not going to hold up to this. But a Souljourn being pocketed by you might. Probably not either, but it probably buys you a little bit more time. So you got your Diva in here now, but you're dead. Diva melts, and then they take the point, I'm guessing.
That was interesting.
Yeah. So way more focus on healing there was needed.
I don't.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so now we've got the Moira, we've got self-healers. So now you can kind of DPS a little bit more. Focusing more on the Mei and the Sombra. Sombra's probably not going to need a lot of healing from you. So a little bit more focus toward the Mei, DPSing, helping the Moira heal the Orisa, that kind of a thing. Kind of odd to just be going Sombra out the gate though. Sombra got a pick. Okay, so you're frontlining with no ammo, and Kiriko's got a fairly long reload time, so that was really poorly timed, and you almost died because of it. Yeah, so you gotta... Your tank's just not getting the healing they need here.
Enemy turret offline.
Didn't need to do that. Just hang behind the sign and either wait for the Moira to heal you or just wait for your passive to kick in.
Let me balance
If you're
you
not
out.
getting shot at, don't worry about it.
Enemy turret destroyed.
Now go get it. Be healed.
Heal your Mei. It's too late now. Another E that just no real value to it. Heal your Mei, heal your Mei, heal your Mei.
My gift to you.
Again, that E ability, nothing, no real value to it. Heal your Mei. And your tank. That E I'm okay with, because that E was low. And unfortunate that I was okay with that one because they kind of need it here too. But it is what it is. If I'm playing that, I wouldn't have had my E for that Orisa ult, but
Let the Kitsune guide you.
Good kill. Heal your Sombra. A little bit more focus on the healing here.
Your end is within my Catch you later.
Try to heal from the cart to keep
me
it
balance
moving
you
a little
out.
faster. Good headshot. Heal your soldier. Nice headshot.
Soothing your wounds.
Focus on healing. Focus on healing.
EMP activated.
Focus on healing. Soldier needs healing. So your soldier was right by you. He needed healing. Now he's dead. You're a little too focused on healing the tank. Let the Moira focus more on that. Heal the DPS a little bit more. So let me explain why games sometimes feel extremely lopsided. And it's kind of falling into a category where the role of these two support players has swapped between round 1 and 2. However, the Kiriko is not acknowledging the role swap. They went from main heal to off heal, but the off healer is the one responsible for healing the DPS, and now the DPS aren't getting the support they need. So if you have a tank that can make do and punish an enemy team with 2 people healing him, then sometimes it can work out, and that's why you have games where your DPS aren't like doing much, because they're not being properly supported. But if you have a tank that's struggling and he's getting double pocketed, that's where all of a sudden the game just falls completely apart. So like right there, your soldier needs, I mean, everybody that's not your tank needs healing right now. And all you're doing is healing your tank. The soldier's right next to you. And I'm guessing he healed himself.
Now go get him. Payload's heading out.
Your Sombra needs healing. Good kill. Sombra still needs healing though.
Like a gentle rain.
And you're so hyper focused on just doing damage and healing your tank, and that's all you're doing. More healing to your DPS. Your Sombra still needs healing. Allows your DPS to be more aggressive and do more. I'm not saying don't heal your tank, because obviously your tank needs it, but good headshot. Good headshot. Good headshot.
The breeze brings relief.
E, yep, that's a good E. Okay, stand. You're hurt, so stand in the soldier healing here, and then just heal people while you heal up. So your soldier needed healing again. Your Orisa's going in on this, so just heal your Orisa at this point. Yeah, it's a 4-on-4. Yeah, if you had your E ability, you might have been able to withstand that ultimate, but you're not doing anything to counter the Orisa ult.
from that. Under my protection.
Join me. Watch out for this one.
And Moira needs to just get out at this point.
I won. Enemy here.
Soothing your wounds.
Shut your yap.
Enemy in sight.
Enemy strong. I like
Way
basketball.
too much DPS in here. Way too much of that. Heal your team. Your Moira was right next. Your Sombra needed healing. Your Orissa's low. Heal your team.
Is approaching its destination.
Your soldier needs healing. Heal. Why are you not healing your team here? You're the only one there that can heal. That's a good kill, I'll give you that, but your job here is not to be killing Mercy, it's to be healing your team. So... what I would have liked to have seen from you here, stand about right here. Let's even rewind this a little bit more. So if you stand about right here and just watch from this area, you'd be healing your soldier, you'd be healing your Orisa, you'd be pressing your E when the Orisa ults to make sure they're fine. The soldier's getting healed. Because now you've got your Moira trying to heal Soldier when her job should really be to heal the Orisa. But if you're back here, you could be doing both, allowing the Moira, when she comes in, to have a little bit more of an easier adaptation to joining this fight.
Got an enemy here.
Okay, I like the ult. Just heal your tank, heal your tank, heal your tank. Yeah, and again, you don't have your E ability to get out of the Orisa ult that you should be countering.
Time to get clever. This feels like sewing, huh?
30 seconds remaining.
So with that one there, you could have been aggressive with your E ability, cleansing the dynamites, trying to allow the Ashe, or try to prevent the Ashe from getting ult quicker, because the Orisa just ulted, so that's the only thing to really be cleansing at this point. Heal your tank. Heal your soldier. Heal your soldier. Kill. Punch. Okay, you got him, but yeah, that could have been a punch kill. Okay, good kill. Heal your soldier. Yeah, you're not healing anybody. Your aim is good, and you're getting sucked into playing a DPS style Kiriko, and if you would have healed your teammates, you would have gotten this. But you're getting too sucked into doing damage. And I mean, I hate to say it, but I actually think you're a really big reason why you guys didn't take this third point. You're DPSing way too much. So one is roll. I'm just gonna say roll. You know, understanding like main or off. understanding if you're a main healer or an off healer, you were technically the off healer on the attack, but you still got to be healing. And you went way too long with the non-healing. You got way too DPS happy. Your aim is good though. I mean, I'll give you that, but you still got to be supporting your team. And the DPSing comes at times, and there's times you got to be healing. And there were plenty of times there where you got sucked into DPSing way more than you should. Number 2 is E to counter. So supports Zen, Lucio, and Kiriko are all defensive ultimates. Well, Kiriko's not a defensive ultimate, but she has a defensive ability. Zen and Lucio have defensive ultimates, but it kind of gets lumped into the same category in the grand scheme of things. Kiriko, her E ability should be used to counter things. Ash Dynamites, Ananades, Orisa Ultimates. If you get lifted up by a Sigma ult and you're near a wall, you can cleanse that and not die to it. Maybe a Junkrat Tire, if you can time that perfectly. That one's more difficult, but using it on people that are low so that they don't die. Things of that nature. You were kind of using it as like a bonus to healing people, and you weren't really countering much of anything. So start reassessing how you use your E ability to counter what the enemy is throwing at you, more than just like oh crap, let me throw this out here to heal everybody a little bit more while I DPS. Because that's kind of the vibe I got from how I saw you use it for the most part. Cleanse things first, counter ultimates second, use it on people that are low when applicable and when there isn't an ultimate or something to be countering. But if there's an Ana on the map, always use it for Ananades and sleeps first. That's like priority number 1. When there isn't that to be worried about, then like an Ash Dynamite, that could be something to be countered. Orisa Ultimates kind of fall into the tier 2 category of things like that. But Ana should always be the priority number 1 for countering with your E on Kiriko. And then number 3 is your positioning. We covered that at a couple different key points where if you played back a little bit further, you probably would have seen the fight differently, and then some of your people would have been getting a little bit more healing priority. You frontlined and kind of got into a frontlining DPS mode a little too much, and because of that, your team suffered for healing. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.